Hello, it is I once again, Jordan, aka Def Cause, sporting a new hat. I am here today to do a reread review of One Piece, Volume 21. Um, so it's Saturday. I decided to do a review today. I think I'm going to do another one tomorrow. I'll do volume 22 tomorrow. Then volume 23 is the last volume of the box set that I own. I've been going through that box set to do all these videos. Um, but I already ordered volume 24. So I should be able to do that. To do that volume at least. And it was more, for some reason, it was more expensive. I don't know why, but it cost me like $20 to buy that volume, or more than that even. Um, anyway, I'll be able to do volume 21, 22, 23, 24, and then I may have to take a break. Not a long break, but a break nonetheless from doing these videos, just in order to get a paycheck so that I can continue to buy the volumes. So I think that's what's gonna go down, unfortunately. I really wanted to buy the next box set, but it is out of stock everywhere, unfortunately. But anyway, enough chitter chatter. Let's get into volume 21 of One Piece. This was a volume with a lot of fights in it. Okay, so I'm going to read the foreword as always. I saw an unusual panda on TV the other day. You know the parts that are supposed to be black? They were all white. I guess it was one of those freaks of nature. And what was more, this panda lived in the Arctic. What an incredible panda. Laugh, in parentheses. Now let's begin One Piece Volume 21, Utopia. Ichiro Oda, 2001. So I think he's just making a joke that he saw a polar bear. I think that's what's going on there. All right, so we pick up where we left off. Well, not exactly where we left off, but we pick up. The last volume ended with the Usopp and Chopper versus Mr. Four and Miss Merry Christmas fight. This volume picks up with the rebels fighting the Royal Army. And Koza is talking about how he needs to go and see Cobra to give him a last chance to surrender. So he's heading to the North Block of Alubarna. I think that's the only time we see Koza this entire volume. But Vivi is a few steps ahead of him. She arrives at North Block already, and then we cut to the fight with Mr. Two versus Sanji. And there are a lot of fights between the Straw Hats and Baroque Works in this volume. There's Sanji versus Mr. Two, Nami versus Miss Doublefinger, and Zorro versus Mr. One. That's all in this volume. So this volume is a lot of fighting, which is awesome because One Piece is always amazing with the fights. Oda does a really good job of depicting fights, of drawing fights. He does a really good job with his art style, making the fights look dynamic and interesting. So Mr. Two and Mr. Sanji are fighting. They seem like they're kind of neck and neck at first. Then, I put a post note here just because I love this gag. When Mr. Two becomes Nami, Sanji can't attack him. he just the hearts pop out of his eyes and stuff like that. So that's an advantage that Mr. Two has over Sanji. Whenever he turns into Nami, Sanji can't fight him. Well, yeah, and then Vivi arrives at the Alabaster Palace, um, and she proposes to Chaka that they need to destroy the palace. Um, I guess it's a weird way for her to like get the war to stop if they destroy the palace. I wasn't 100% clear why she wanted to destroy the palace, actually, now that I'm looking at this again. I'm not sure how that helps. I don't think they destroy the palace. I'm pretty sure they don't. But Chaka says, as you wish, we'll do that. Okay, so then Mr. Two has the advantage over Sanji because he's in Nami's form. And Sanji can't attack. And here we get another drawing of Mr. Two kind of revealing skin, like Nami's skin. The last time it was from the back. But here he kind of shows her cleavage. I guess Nami shows her cleavage a lot anyway. Not so much at this point in the story. Definitely more now. More in like recent One Piece. And by recent I mean like the past decade. But yeah, Nami definitely is always like in bikinis and stuff. I guess she was even back at this point too. Oh yeah, I put a post-it note here just because I like this gag. Mr. Two turns into Nami, and then Sanji's eye pops out of his head with the heart, his like heart eye, and then Mr. Two just kicks it, and Sanji's like, "Oh shit, my eye." I don't know. I just thought that was funny. He like kicks the heart eye, and Sanji feels it. That was funny. Um, oh yeah, so Sanji realizes that Mr. Two has to turn back into himself whenever he uses the Okama Kenpo. So he's able to attack him whenever he uses in this they call it the Okama My Way Karate. But he can attack him during those instances. And then Mr. Two puts on the swan shoes or whatever that he attacks with. And those are like pretty deadly. So yeah, so he fights Sanji with those for a while. But then Sanji, oh yeah, this is pretty cool. He turns into Nami because he saw that Sanji was about to get a hit on him, and then Sanji says, "Hey, what's that on your left cheek?" And then Mister Two touches his face and turns back into himself, and then Sanji hits him with a big attack. That's pretty cool. So yeah, they go at it pretty hard. This was a pretty memorable panel right here. It's right here. Oh yeah, and then that's it. That's the last. That's the last attack, and Sanji comes out on top, of course. And then Mister Two is like, "Oh, I'm not even gonna turn into Nami because I'm beaten at this point. Like, uh, there's nothing I can do. You won." And then Sanji's like, "It was a good fight. There's nothing more to be said." and that makes he doesn't finish him off completely. He just like shakes his hand, and then that makes Mr. Two cry. And this is kind of an instance where we get a glimpse of, because Mr. Two at this point in the story, we haven't seen him in a really long time, but I mean, I guess we haven't seen Mr. Two since Impel Down. But in Impel Down, he's like a good guy. He's one of Luffy's like how do you say it? One of his like I don't know. He's a friend of his. He's on his side. Um, and this is kind of, we get a glimpse of Mr. Two not being a complete asshole, even though he technically is a bad guy in this arc. We can see that he's not like a completely bad person like some other characters. Oh yeah, so then Crocodile shows up at the palace where Vivi and Chaka are, and I guess the king is there too, King Cobra. And he's like, "Yeah, you guys can't destroy the palace because this is my new home." And then we cut to Nami and Zorro and Mr. One and Miss Doublefinger, and they're about to start their fights. Zorro saves Nami from Mr. One. That's a pretty cool panel. And then Mr. One and Zorro start fighting. Oh yeah, I thought this was kind of interesting. Mr. One says, um, he says, "Oh, a few years ago on the East Blue, you also turned down an offer to work for Baroque Works." He's talking to Zorro. "You're the pirate hunter who took out Mr. Seven." And then Zorro says, "That brings back memories, but it wasn't my fault. You guys rejected my conditions." And then Zorro says, "I told your agent I'd join if I could be the boss." So I think that would be an interesting video. I think there's zero chance that Tekking would see this, but I'm a big fan of Tekking, and well, I guess I could tweet at him or something. But he should make a video like that. He does a lot of theory videos, a lot of what if videos. I think he should make a video based on if Zorro became the boss of Baroque Works. I think that would be kind of interesting. A what if scenario. What if they had said, "Oh yeah, you can be the boss"? I mean, I guess that wouldn't happen. But those, I guess that's kind of the point, that his terms were outrageous. Um, but I think it would be interesting. What if Zorro had become like the boss of a bunch of bounty hunters? Because he was a bounty hunter, so it would make sense if he was like in charge of a bunch of bounty hunters. I guess. But I think that would be an interesting discussion. Um, so yeah. Okay, so Mr. Two and Zorro start to fight, but then we cut to Nami and Miss Doublefinger. But first, we get a flashback where Nami is talking to Usopp about making a new weapon for her, making the climate baton. And I actually put a post-it note here because Usopp says, "Oh wait, we're gonna be at Alabasta really soon. Like I don't have enough time to like make your climate baton or whatever." And then Nami says, "Oh, you're right, my bad." But then Usopp goes, "You know what? There's no task too difficult for Usopp." And then Nami says, "You do it? Thank you, Usopp. I love you." And there are a bunch of hearts and stuff. And that reminded me of right after the time skip, Usopp and Nami are two of the first Straw Hats to meet right after the time skip when they meet back at the Sabaody archipelago, and and Nami's like super happy to see Usopp after 2 years, and she like grabs him and she's wearing the bikini and her tits are out, and she uh like hugs him, and his nose is like right between her tits. Um, and so yeah, so that was that reminded me of that. It seems like Nami has some affection for Usopp. I mean, I guess all the Straw Hats have affection for each other. Um, and I mentioned before, I think I would ship like Sanji and Nami, but it seems like Usopp and Nami kind of have a thing too. At least in those two instances. Okay, so we get the fight between Miss Doublefinger and Nami. That starts. Miss Doublefinger uh, shows her powers off, the spike fruit. And then Nami is trying to figure out the climate baton, but it keeps like she keeps doing like party tricks with it. Usopp, for some reason, Usopp put a bunch of party tricks in the climate baton, and he even did like an instruction manual where he's explaining to her like, "Oh yeah, this would be good for a party and stuff." It's like, what? Usopp, like, what are you doing? Like, why would you make it a party baton? Um, so yeah, so Nami is like struggling versus Miss Doublefinger while trying to figure out the climate baton. Um, Yeah, and Miss Doublefinger keeps attacking her with her spike powers. And then we get a cool shot of Nami right here. She like rips her dress up and has the baton in one hand. And then she does the heat ball, the cool ball, and the thunder ball. And she can like, and this is kind of awesome how she can like manipulate the weather to make mirages and stuff like that. I remember she does that during Enos Lobby too when she's fighting Khalifa. Nami doesn't have that many fights, but she fights Miss Doublefinger, she fights Khalifa. I can't really think of anybody else that she fights. I guess she just fought what's her name? Ulti in Wano. And she just fought Ulti with Usopp. Um but yeah, but she doesn't fight that often. Okay, so yeah, so Nami does the Mirage. You think she gets like pierced by Miss Doublefinger, but it's actually a Mirage. Then we cut back to Sanji, who met back up with Usopp and Chopper and Eyelashes, the camel, and he gives Usopp his goggles back, but they're broken, and Usopp is all bandaged up. It's kind of hard to see, but he's right there. He's all bandaged up because he got owned by Mr. Four. Okay, and then we cut back to Crocodile and King Cobra and Vivi. Oh yeah, and then Crocodile says, "Where is Pluton?" This is the first mention of Pluton, one of the ancient weapons. And later on, he says it's able to destroy an island in one shot. Like it can destroy an entire island. And it was one of the the strongest weapons of the ancient world. Um, and apparently, it's somewhere in Alabasta. I don't remember what happens with that. Like what happens later. Um, But yeah, but Crocodile is after Pluton. That's like the whole reason apparently that he's trying to take over Alabasta is because he's after Pluton. And okay, so then we cut back to Nami and Miss Doublefinger. Miss Doublefinger does the doping technique where she like buffs herself up. I don't know how that works because she's just able to make herself into spikes, But apparently, when she like injects the spikes into herself, she can like boost up her strength, kind of like Ivankov, I guess. But I don't understand how that works because she just turns into spikes. She doesn't have any kind of like because Ivankov has the like the hormone fruit or whatever hormone fruit or something. So he can kind of like manipulate your hormones. So I guess that kind of makes more sense why he's able to like give Luffy like a doping boost or whatever. Um, but Miss Doublefinger, I'm not sure how that works because she can just turn into spikes. She doesn't have the power to manipulate hormones, but apparently she can like buff herself up. Oh yeah, so then Nami hits her with the Thunderbolt tempo, all her like the Thunderball and the Cool Ball and the Heat Ball kind of come into play. Then she makes another Mirage, and then she hits her. Okay, so Miss Doublefinger hits her with like a headbutt with her hair is all spiky, and then Nami puts her foot on her, and then she shoots the tornado tempo, and the weird pigeons come out and wrap themselves around Miss Doublefinger, and then she shoots. She does like a big attack, like she shoots a big tornado, and that takes her out. That takes out Miss Doublefinger. I don't know if it's like I don't know if it's just because I'm reading this all in one go, because I'm used to reading One Piece like week to week. I feel like these fights are happening really quick, and I guess it's just because I'm reading it all in one shot as opposed to reading it week to week. Um, but yeah, like Luffy versus Kaido right now, I feel like that's been going on forever, and it has. But I feel like I guess if I read it all in one shot, I guess it wouldn't be that long. And that's kind of I feel like that's the way you're supposed to read One Piece is like all in one shot. We have to read it week to week because that's just the way it's published. But the story kind of flows better if you read it all in one shot. Um, so yeah, so I don't know. It just gives me the impression that like Nami kind of defeated Miss Doublefinger kind of easily, and that's how I felt with Mister Four last volume. Um, I guess as long as it makes sense, it doesn't matter if the fight isn't that long. Um, but yeah, but I feel like Nami kind of took her out kind of easily. I guess maybe not. I feel like Zorro's fight after this actually goes by even quicker. Um, okay, so we cut back to Crocodile and Cobra and Vivi. Oh yeah, he starts talking about the cannonball. There's like a big bomb. It's gonna go off in 30 minutes. I remember that. I remember that. Okay, so then we cut back to Zorro and Mr. One fighting. And I guess there's not a lot of talking in this fight, which might be why I felt like it goes by pretty quick. I mean, it probably took a while to draw, but it's just like Mr. One and Zorro like clashing with each other. Like they just keep like hitting each other with moves like this. Like on this these two pages, there's very little talking, if any. Yeah, this is like the whole fight. They just like slash at each other. Oh yeah, and then we get a flashback where Zorro flashes back to his master. I forget his name. Forget his name. What's his master's name again? I forget. But he talks to him about how a sword should be able to cut nothing and steal at the same time. Oh yeah, and here we get a display of Zorro's strength. He picks up an entire building. He just picks up an entire building, a building that Mr. One cut up. And he just picks up the whole thing and throws it at him. So Zorro is strong as fuck. Oh yeah, and here we get the first appearance of Kami and Papagu. This is actually a covers chapter, a chapter cover. But they don't show up in the story until like Sabaody, I don't think. But this is the first time we've seen them, Kami and Papagu. I didn't realize they showed up this early. Yeah, the Mr. One and Zorro fight is pretty awesome. He like slices up the building that he threw at him. He slices it up. And they keep going at it. He does the buzzsaws with his arms. Mr. One does. And he attacks Zorro. Sends him flying. This whole fight is just like pages like this. It's pretty awesome though. Then Zorro gets back up. Oh yeah, and here we get a glimpse of. He says, Mr. One is like, how can you possibly? Because he hit him with the buzzsaw punch, and Mr. One is like, how can you possibly stand up? I cut you to ribbons. And how did you dodge all that falling rubble? And then Zorro's like, dodge? No, that's not it. I knew where the stones wouldn't fall. And he's just like standing amongst the rubble. And this is kind of like, I mean, it seems to me like this is like a glimpse into the future of One Piece as far as like hockey, like observation hockey. Like it feels like Zorro used observation hockey, I guess. I mean, maybe not. Maybe he just like felt it. This is more like, I mean, I think the chapter is called Mr. Bushido. So maybe this is just Zorro's like swordsman intuition as opposed to like hockey. But it is kind of similar to observation hockey. Like he just knew where the stones wouldn't fall. Oh yeah, I remember this in the anime. This sequence was pretty cool when he slashes the leaf and then he cuts the stone. Then he hits him with. This is a super memorable part, like a super memorable panel. He hits him with the son son, and that takes him out. That's the final blow. I love that panel. One sword, one strike, lion strike. That's what they call it here. But it's the Shishi Son Son. And that is it for One Piece Volume 21. Yeah, so that was a fun volume as always. A lot of fights. I love the fighting in One Piece. It's like the best part. Maybe not the best part. The story's pretty dope too. But I do love how Oda draws fights. I think he's really original with his art style. And the way he draws the characters fighting is always so satisfying to look at. So that was just this entire volume was just that, just fighting. So that was pretty fun. If you indeed watch me talk about One Piece for over a half an hour, thank you very much. I will probably be back tomorrow with volume 22. Then I'll do volume 23 on Wednesday. There is not going to be a new chapter this week. I just found that out. I knew, but I had forgotten. So when I did my chapter reaction, I wasn't sure if there was going to be a chapter this week or not. But it turns out there is not going to be a chapter this week because it's Golden Week in Japan, I think. So, yeah, no new chapter, unfortunately. But I'll do chapter 22 tomorrow, 23 for Wednesday, and then next Sunday I'll do 20. I guess I'll do 24. If I don't even know if I'll receive. I just ordered volume 24. I just ordered it off Amazon today. So I don't even know when I'm gonna get that. It might take a little while. Sometimes Amazon is really quick. Sometimes it's not. But I think it said I was going to get it on the 27th, between the 27th and the 2nd. So we'll see. If I get it by next Sunday, which I'm hoping I will, I probably will. But I'll do volume 24 next Sunday. Anyway. Yeah, so thanks for watching the video. If you did. If you didn't, oh well, you probably didn't. I think most people in the world did not watch this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the very near future. Have a good one.